Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zemo the Dad in DPS, and we're back again with another episode of The Good, The Scrap, and The Scrip, a series where I review weapons in Appalachia and see how well they are at putting holes in the freaks. So, yeah, today's weapon's an interesting one, and one I am looking forward to testing. But before we get into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to go further and support the channel, there is the coffee link down below, and you can always become a YouTube member by clicking join under the video. So, let's see what we've got today. One thing I do know is this thing can solve crimes. It's Tom Selleck. So today's weapon is a Aristocrats, 25 damage while aiming, Vats critical meter fills 15% faster, Pipe Revolver. Now this is a weapon I generally quite like. The advantage of it is it can actually be a multitude of different things. You can use this weapon for a pistol build, you can use it for a rifle build. It does have both those options depending on which mode you've got it in. Obviously I've got it in pistol mode just because I like pistols. I don't know if I've ever said that before. I wonder. In general, this weapon, I'm unsure how I'm going to use it. It can be used in two different modes. Because you've got that 25 damage while aiming, it can be used in basically just manual aiming. And because it's got the VAT crits, you can also use it in VATs. It has a little bit of two sides to it. Whether it's going to be fully effective in one way or the other, I'm really not that sure. And obviously, it would be better if it was all in one or one in the other. But either way, it's gonna be interesting to test, especially with the Aristocrats damage effect. Now, due to the current event going on, I thought it was quite appropriate that I try and hunt down some cultists. Now, these guys are fairly squishy, but it'll give you a good idea of what this weapon can do. Now, as I said, it is usable in both kind of modes, and if you're seeing the VATs there, we're hitting quite decent damage and one-shotting those particular enemies. But let's see what happens when we manually aim it. And it's doing pretty much the same kind of thing. Humans typically are not very sturdy anyway. But you're seeing I'm getting similar damage from both fire modes. The VATs crits obviously doing higher damage, as they would do. But overall, it's quite a satisfying gun to use in general. The biggest problem I always have with the particular sights I'm using, which is always got a higher VATS accuracy, is it's absolutely garbage at manual aiming. I hate this thing. So that is a little bit of a downside for me, but that's just because I have potato aim. And especially because this has such a slow fire rate, manually aiming it can be difficult if the enemies are moving. Especially if you're me. Cool. Well, especially if you're also going for headshots. If you're going for body shots, I suppose not so much the case. But let's see. I'll just show you the damage on the body. Just because, obviously, if I'm going constantly for headshots, you're not getting a full idea of exactly what this can do. Especially if you are... Where did that guy go? We just randomly ran off into the middle of nowhere. Let's go into the house and see if we can find someone. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what this can do outside of just headshot and everything. If you are going to manually aim it, like saying it's not as much damage, but you are quite confidently able to kill people. And the reload speed in this gun is pretty damn good. It's unlike the other weapons that you typically have where you're reloading like every bullet instead of just all in one. So yeah, overall very effective and very efficient at killing enemies, and ammo wise pretty decent. Now, as you can see, it's my standard pistol build and all the usual goodies that are on there. There's nothing really interesting to say about this. It is just the standard kind of thing I use. Obviously, I'm going to swap things on, and there's things that sometimes are missing that should be on there. But yeah, pretty standard build. Don't really dwell on it too much. I do have a pistol build video, and while we're letting you look at this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, support my links down below. Let's move on. Alright, Jeff is about to get a rude awakening, and we will try and get some of the alternate fire modes here, just so that you can see exactly how much damage this thing is doing. I'm going to get a bit closer so that we can fire this first shot off without missing, because pistols aren't quite as accurate as rifles. So 222 on them, 324, 324, crit of 400. Let's go for a manually aimed shot, see what we get. So you're looking at 120. I think that was a body shot, if I'm honest. I'm crap. Yeah, 349. So the damage in both modes is very comparable. Very, very comparable. I don't think it's... I think Vats has the edge on the basis that you can guarantee the damage more consistently, but it literally depends on the circumstance, and quite often you won't have the AP to do it, so you're not really losing any damage outside of Vats either, so that is a relatively good thing. Faster fire rate doesn't really lend itself to this weapon, so it is one of those things that I think it is potentially good that it has that type of damage rating. I could be wrong. As usual, we are back with the Queenie Queen. And I'm going to shoot her in the legs, just to see how well this does. Now, being a silenced weapon, it should, in theory, be quite effective in this fight. However, with a lot of my weapons, it does cause a lot of issues trying to get them to work as intended. And these legs are not crippling. Hey, she's facing me. Run away. Run away. But as you've seen, I'm actually doing relatively decent damage to her. If I shoot her in the head, she is taking quite big chunks of health. And going down relatively quickly, but she does somehow keep looking directly at me, which... Ah, crap. She spotted me. Which is always a bit of a worry, because she can just spit her crazy... annoying vomit at me, which is one of the most irritating abilities in the game, because if it hits me, it's got the potential for one shot in me. On that note, because this is an Aristocrats weapon, I can get away with having higher health than I would do in a lot of other situations, and once I've got some distance between me and her, I can then resume firing from far away. However, because this is pretty much set for a pistol build, if you go too far away from her, you are going to find that your damage basically drops off really badly. So you do need to be careful with that. But don't get me wrong, you are not going to be doing a huge amount of damage to her outside of other things. I honestly think the best way to get the damage that you need with this gun is, against her at least, is Vats crits, because you are able to essentially crit her in a more significant way. It's going to ignore her armor, and then you are going to be able to kill her a lot quicker. As you're seeing, it's just a lot slower when I've not got Vats up. And I am killing her. I'm killing her relatively effectively. It's just not as quick, sadly. And I'm not going to go through it all because it's boring to watch. But yeah, this gun will kill her. You just need to be smart about it. Though I would advise using something else. We're at that time again where I go, how's it doing daily ops? I'm expecting well, but it's always best to test it to find out. Now, we're up against mole miners and their healing factor. I expect this is just going to completely destroy them. Unfortunately, it's uplink, so I can't stealth, but that isn't really stopping this thing. So far, so good. Where is the... Actually, I mean, I don't really think I need to pay attention to the objective when I'm doing this at the moment, because I'm testing the weapon, not really giving two craps about the actual thing, but part of me wants to complete it and get the legendary items, so we're going to activate it and start doing stuff. But yeah, so far so good. It's killing these enemies very consistently, despite their healing factor, except for when it does that. And when it comes to ammo, you're getting significant numbers back in comparison to what you are spending. Especially if you're using the ultrasight rounds like I am, you're getting anywhere between basically 4 and the usual 16. Now, as you can see, I'm really not paying attention to the objectives. I'm the only one in here anyway, so it's not like I'm hindering anybody's playtime. So that is definitely a thing. I have no idea where I'm going with that. I'm having a very scatterbrained day today. But as you can see, yeah, the weapon is absolutely fantastic at putting holes in these freaks. Ammo efficiency is great. The out of Vats aiming is a bit janky, but if you are good at doing it, you're going to get some decent damage out of it. So you don't need to worry about your damage taking a severe drop off outside of Vats. However, you aren't going to get those crits, which is always a big bonus. But when you do go into Vats, you are getting the crits consistent and you are doing quite a significant amount of damage. Don't get me wrong, it's not a queen killer, but it is going to get you what you need done in most cases against most enemies. Super mutants won't stand a chance against this, mole miners certainly don't, and anything humanoid typically is going to get literally evaporated by your wallet power, which is always good. Wallet power is always good. Yeah. Gets my thumbs up. So that was tonight's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, as usual, there is the coffee link down below and the join button to become a YouTube member. And let's thank our members, which are Golty, Wyatt Blackburn, Wallers Me, Theofane Gaming, Colin G, Brian RMC, Peggy McKnight, Matazbo, Dragon God Slayer X, Devilman Games, Marcus Carrasco, Scott S, Bubba Doodle Mom, and Ranger McSprudel. A big thanks to all of you. It really helps out the channel, and your support is infinitely welcome, as is the support of everybody. Now, today's weapon, I think, is a very, very decent little piece of kit. Don't get me wrong, it is, as with most of the weapons that I review, not the god killer that some weapons out there are, but it definitely gets the job done in most situations. It's got a satisfying feel to it, it looks nice, and in general is a very relatively easy gun to get a hold of. The bolt action, not bolt action, the Pipe Revolvers. They're not uncommon, and people sleep on them quite a bit, so you'll probably be able to find one relatively cheap somewhere. Either way, I'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.